At around 7:37 a.m. on June 8, 2026, a magnitude 7.8 earthquake struck off the coast of Sarangani province. The heavy tremors caused damage to essential infrastructures, injuries to more than 1,000 people, and the deaths of innocent lives. Hello, I'm John Sitchon, reporting for Rappler from Mindanao.
We have been going around General Santos City and Sarangani for a week in the wake of the aftermath of the powerful earthquake that struck off the coast of Sarangani, checking up on communities affected by this earthquake. Hi, I'm Jelo Mantaring, reporting from Mindanao.
Jelo, we're here right now sa Sarangani PDRMC, Provincial Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council office, and right now we are seeing a lot of destruction still in the parts of the province of Sarangani. We went to the towns of Glan, Malapatan, Alabel, and we even went to the uphill villages of Barangay San Jose in General Santos City. Walk us back to the day June 8th when the earthquake happened. It was around 7:37 a.m. That's about the time when the flag ceremonies for the first day of classes was happening. What happened on that day?
Nung morning na yon, it's very important to note na, as you have said nga, nasa flag ceremony yung madaming tao, parents and students. So there are, nasa open field na sila. It's a safe space when earthquakes struck the land. So we can say na madami yung nasa safe space na nung lumindol, kung kaya patuloy na naghanap sila ng safety while it was really shaking. Powerful yung naging earthquake. At nung nangyari yung lindol, marami ring students ang kinangailangan ng psychosocial support because of the trauma that naranasan nila. Kung kaya dito sa Sarangani pa lang, yung number of schools na with major damage, as of the latest info that we got, 132 schools with major damage and also 743 classrooms ang may major damage din. So because of that, the Sarangani provincial government has issued an executive order just yesterday to lengthen or to habaan pa yung class suspension until June 30. The executive order hinted at implementing alternative learning modalities that's modular, specifically modular distance learning for these schools kasi nga it's still unsafe for them to go back to schools, make their classes in classrooms kasi marami ring mga schools na syempre kailangan pa ng further evaluation because of the structural integrity. They need to be safe talaga para makabalik yung mga estudyante at mga guro doon sa mga eskwelahan. So if feasible, alternative learning modalities yung need na gawin sa Sarangani, pero andun pa din yung kailangan ng coordination ng government to from the government to the Department of Education to really check the status of the schools. Sarangani na lang sa buong Soc-Sargen yung naka-level 4 hinto, which means that there are no classes happening. Sa ibang provinces, and this week, General Santos City, nag-transition na sila from level 4 to level 3 hinga, yung General Santos City. And which means naman na bumabalik na sila sa klase pero not necessarily sa schools. So it's more of giving check-ins sa students' welfare, well-being nila, pati also sa teachers to provide psychosocial support. Yun yung parang pinaka-important ngayon, psychosocial support, psychological first aid, kasi yun nga, traumatic ito for the students who were excited to go to schools, and then when the earthquake happened, syempre, di ba, all of a sudden, papasok pa lang yung iba papasok pa lang ng classroom, di ba? So makikita natin sa mga parents din na how they were very concerned with the safety of with their children. So ayun yung status ngayon sa Soc-Sargen. Only Sarangani is in level 4 hinto, meaning no classes, pero most of the provinces bumalik na sa klase. Maliban nga lang din sa General Santos City na as we understand, pupunta na sila na modular distance learning by next week. So from the Department of Education, they said na at least 341 million pesos yung need na ibigay na funds for clean up and minor repairs. Minor repairs pa lang, not major repairs or totally reconstruction of the buildings. I think siguro kung sa nakikita natin na info na or sa nakikita nating mga posts and updates from Department of Education, it would still need parang weeks siguro or like mas matagal pa na assessment for the schools na totally damaged or like yung classrooms na totally damaged. So what we need from the Department of Education right now is more information on what to do with those schools na basically closed kasi red category kung tawagin nga dito sa Mindanao, red category siya.
Meaning
Not safe for occupancy pa for students. Merong yellow meaning na siguro mas okay.
For assessment pa.
For assessment pa, for further evaluation. So, ayun no, kailangan i-retrofit yung classrooms. Kung may mga totally damaged na classrooms, would they need temporary learning spaces? So, yun yung mga kailangan pang alamin sa Department of Education. As I said earlier nga, no, this week, many of the schools delivered psychological first aid to students. Pero yung teachers muna din yung nauna doon kasi, syempre, as teachers would need to guide their students. So, sila muna, nakaranas sila ng trauma eh. So, sila muna yung nauna mabigyan ng psychological first aid and they were briefed on how to do those sessions to students. And then, ayun na. So, ngayon, we think and we understand teachers are making modules, are creating modules in General Santos City. Siguro sa Sarangani, may mga schools na rin na magsasagawa nun. And we've also seen the status or the school, yung itsura ng school ng Blala Elementary School, which is sa General Santos City. It's in Barangay San Jose, pero mountainous village siya. So, mas mahirap siyang puntahan lang ng by foot, malayo.
And we also went to Sitio Datal Salvan as well.
Ayun. So, parang those particularly in that barangay, di ba, you said Sitio Datal Salvan, and then we also went to Sitio Blala. And those two schools, while in the same barangay, magkaiba na agad ng status. Datal Salvan was assessed as green category, so usable siya. Pero yung yung Blala Elementary School, totally destroyed yung isang classroom. Pero yung classroom na yon for use na siya ng 2 grade levels. So, 'di ba, magkaibang status sila. So, anong gagawin nila ngayon? Yon, for further assessment, for further talks, very contextual yung magiging status ng mga schools kahit sa Sarangani as sa General Santos City. So, ayun lang.
It's only been almost half a month already, or almost 2 weeks. And the current situation, ganito pa rin. It's highly reminiscent of what happened in Cebu in the September 2025 earthquake. Nung gabi ng September 30, it was around 10 p.m. The earthquake happened and major educational institutions suffered heavy damage as well. Many of them were also classified under the red category, meaning they are unsafe for occupancy and they need to be repaired and given retrofitting. And right now, dito sa province ng Sarangani, namataan namin yung mga different schools sa Sarangani, all the way from Alabel to Glan, and where we went to in Glan, where there was the most amount of damage. But before we get into that, just little macro scale of what's going on, because we received information coming from the National Disaster Risk Reduction Management Council, the NDRRMC, as of June 20 ngayon. So there are 20 affected towns and cities. Around 19 of them have already had their communication lines restored. So isang affected town lang ang wala pa. So that's most likely in the town of Glan. We were there. Very difficult yung signal doon. And of course, may mga neighboring sitios din that have no communication lines at all. Hindi talaga makokontak. And water and power also remains a heavy problem for most of the towns. 13 out of 47 affected areas have restored electricity. That's only 13 out of 47. Only 1 out of 16 affected cities and towns have restored their water supply. When we were in Glan, our experience there, syempre yung mga tao doon, there was electricity there, but water remained a problem. We got the opportunity to talk to Glan Mayor Victor James Yap Sr., who told us that they are trying to find ways to get in touch with NGOs, get in touch with the national government, to try and ask for water filtration machines, to try and ask for potable water which they can use. Because according to the mayor, since even before the earthquake, wala talaga silang accessible water supply. And Glan is the summer capital of Sarangani. It heavily relies on tourism, and now with what's happening, a lot of the tourism establishments are very much affected. Now, in these towns, from all the way from Maasim and Maasim Sarangani, you go to General Santos City, and then head all the way to Glan. These are all surrounding Sarangani Bay. They're all a bit northeast of the Cotabato Trench, where a subduction was found. That's where the plates would dive over another, and that ended up causing a lot of aftershocks, subsequent aftershocks, and of course it triggered a tsunami warning in these areas. But most of these areas, coastal communities, were heavily affected, and so many of these coastal communities lost their homes, not only homes but also families and livelihoods as well. In fact, we even got to talk to some of the residents in Barangay Pangyan.
Barangay Pangyan.
Yeah, Barangay Pangyan in Glan, where residents told us that they were afraid of lube, which is the Bisaya word for coconut, which is ironic because in Glan, coconuts are a great source of income because they create copra out of these coconuts. They use these coconuts to create buko juice, and of course use the wood coming from the trees to build their homes. And now, because of the tragedy, because of the disaster, they're very much afraid whenever coconuts fall on top of their heads because of the aftershocks. But it's not only that. Merong mga landslides that are frequently happening because of the aftershocks, and of course because of the earthquake, that ended up making the roads completely inaccessible.
Barangay Pangyan is a coastal town, pero let's go back to Barangay Poblacion, where we also visited yung evacuation center there. Ano yung nakita mo dun, John? Ano yung mga sinabi ng mga residente sa'yo?
Well, in the primary evacuation center in Barangay Poblacion, specifically the Glan Plaza tent city, most of the residents there were very much complaining about the heat. Many of the tents, the 4x4 by 2.5 family tents that were provided by the DSWD and the local government, many of these tents were supposedly one tent per family, but they ended up being shared by three or four families, just one tent. So you can imagine how cramped they are. Yung frequent na reklamo nila is they cannot properly sleep because maraming mga tao doon that are walking by. So they're very crowded there, and it's as what the mayor, Glan Mayor Victor James Yap Sr. said, na they agree that there is a shelter crisis going on right now in that specific area. And if we took a look at the data coming from the PDRMC, Glan tallied the highest number of affected families in Sarangani at 48,020 families, and 2,851 of those families are staying in evacuation centers. That's the highest number. Glan also has about 4,182 totally damaged homes, only followed by Malapatan at 1,969 totally damaged homes. So these two towns form a majority of the 6,000 plus totally damaged homes in Sarangani. So Glan has the highest also number of casualties. Just breaking them down, you have 166 injured, 14 missing, and 23 deaths, followed by Malapatan with 73 injured, 2 missing, and 9 deaths. So Glan, especially the Poblacion area, is a very much affected location. And based on what we've seen there, images of major establishments and even schools, especially the Notre Dame of Glan, which we also got to visit, experienced heavy damage as well. Many of the classrooms, almost more than a dozen, were categorized as red, meaning they can no longer be used, and the rest of the classrooms that are still there presently available, they have to retrofit, so that they're servicing more than 100 students, which is already a lot for in the barangay Poblacion. But while we were there in Gland, we also had the opportunity to meet with some of the people who were trying to move forward, make a living with their situation. You had the opportunity to talk to one of them.
Yeah, nakausap ko si Mary Jane Orejenes, which is a resident in Barangay Poblacion. Nakita natin kasi dun sa area nung tawagin ay tent city nila, ay may mga food stands, may mga nagbebenta ng pagkain doon. She was one of them. Kasi they said na while they receive aid during as evacuees, kailangan pa rin nila ng pam araw-araw nila na kita. So since na-disrupt nga yung kanilang life because of the earthquake, they're finding ways to earn a living. Sa kanya, naisip niya magbenta ng pagkain, magluto ng mga fishball, mga hotdog. So ganun lang yung naisip niyang pagbebenta doon mismo sa evacuation center. And then kasi ginagawa na yun kasi her home was also damaged by the earthquake, pero it was assessed by the authorities as only partially damaged, and it becomes a problem in her situation and other residents na may similar situations sa kanya, kasi only those with totally damaged houses can get the 30,000 housing assistance from the National Housing Authority. So for now, that's the situation here in Glan, kasi parang mas priority nila yung totally damaged na houses or yung mga residents with totally damaged houses, and then partially damaged houses, makaka-receive pa rin naman daw sila ng materyales, ng mga pampa-rebuild nung bahay nila. Pero yun nga, wala muna nung aid. It's still we're still asking kung magkakaroon ba sila. It's really parang mapapaisip ka na lang kung mabibigyan ba talaga sila. Pero for now, they can also receive construction materials there. So ganun yung nagiging shelter crisis, as you say, with this in the aftermath of the earthquake.
And another thing that we found in Glan specifically, and of course the neighboring towns, was the coastal uplift, right? Where an area of the shoreline, nag-extend siya daw. Maybe you can give us a very quick and brief explanation of what's happening there.
So yun nga, yung coastal uplift, because of the major, powerful na magnitude 7.8 earthquake, ay parang mistulang, what I say is, mistulang umatras yung dagat. Nag-recede yung shoreline up to 200 meters, and then the coastal land, tumaas ang coastal land ng 1 to 2 meters. So ganun ka grabe yung nangyari sa ibang parts ng Sarangani. And then, sa Barangay Pangyan, yung nakita natin yung mga boat, nandun na, parang trapped na sila dun sa kung saan sila ngayon. So, hindi sila yung mga fisherman, hindi makakapalaot. Kasi nga, yung coral beds, yung mga bato, basically coastal land, nakaangat ngayon. So, nag-iiba na rin yung tide levels nila, hindi na nila matimpla kung ano yung nangyayari sa dagat. That's how they describe the situation there. So disrupted yung livelihood nila. Yung may mga sa Barangay Gumasa, which is another barangay sa Glan, hindi ganun kagrabe katulad sa nangyari sa Barangay Pangyan, pero nagbago din yung shoreline nila, umatras ng kaunti, and then nagbago yung tide level. So yung mga beach resort owners doon, may concern naman sila. Paano yung mga hanap buhay nila as a beach resort or owner? Paano yung mga turista na pupunta sana sa beach doon, pero ang makikita nila, syempre, maya-maya biglang bababa yung tubig, makikita yung mga lupa, and then biglang tataas. So parang paiba-iba na siya ngayon, which is another concern for tourism as a Glan na, diba? As a parang tourism city siya. And we talk to authorities, and we're trying to learn about the situation, kung gaano kadami yung fisher folk na affected, but DENR, the FIVOX, the local authorities are still assessing yung coastal areas or yung may mga reported na coastal uplift, and then syempre, ilan ba talaga yung number ng fisher folk na affected. So that's what we are trying to get more details about.
Yeah, so damage assessments are still ongoing as we speak, and many of the towns are still conducting clearing operations to make the roads more accessible in order to make the aid delivery much more fluid. But right now, the national government has already provided GLAN 20 million pesos for rehabilitation. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. on June 10 announced that they would be giving 100 million peso financial assistance as for recovery as well for General Santos City. In Gensan, they have actually 160 million for its total disaster response fund, and that's 64 million pesos from its quick response fund and 96 million pesos from its disaster preparedness and mitigation projects fund. Now, GLAN, on the other hand, also activated its 10 million quick response fund, and they also received 20 million pesos. 20 million pesos for rehabilitation. And most of that, some of that is also going to go into the purchase for water tankers in order to address their water shortage right now that they're facing. The DBM, the Department of Budget and Management, has also released 140 million pesos on June 15 to Sarangani province for the rehabilitation and recovery efforts, and 122 million for South Cotabato to develop a road in the municipality of Tope, which is in the north, that would help improve mobility across the province and of course to make aid delivery much faster and of course smoother as well. So ngayon, that's most of what we have in terms of what's happening right now, more than half a month after the magnitude 7.8 earthquake that hit Mindanao. And if you want more updates, we will be providing you more updates on the Rappler website, and of course we also provide updates on our social media on Rappler, Facebook, Twitter, and of course other social media outlets as well. And if you also want to interact with us to ask or even know more about what's happening currently, download the Rappler Communities app. We are on the Livable Cities chat room, and we frequently provide updates on what's happening on the ground there.
Or communities can also share what they know or like yung information na meron sa kanilang local area, especially on Soc Sargent or Sarangani, and sa General Santos City. Baka meron kayong gusto pang i-share regarding sa aftermath ng earthquake na ito, because it's not just parang after June 8 tapos na. Still weeks for recovery, how to rebuild after this. So, ayun, feel free to share your information or your stories on the Rappler Communities app.
We will continue to listen, provide you updates. I'm John Sitchon.
I'm Jelo Mantaring.
You're watching Rappler Recap.